Yo guys, Kevin here, back at you again. What's another video? In today's video, I really just wanted to come out of my shell and really talk about my shyness, right? I've been super shy and unwilling to talk to people for so long in my life. Even now, I will say I'm still not really good at it, but I've come to realize, and why I kind of made this YouTube channel was to kind of try to force myself to be different and to change that, right? I've been so shy and unwilling to talk to people. I feel like I've been losing myself and missing opportunities mostly per se. Feel like so many chances and opportunities I have in my life and so many things I could benefit and push my life to be better, I failed to do because I'm just so scared to, interact with people. The best example I have is one time I was at the ice cream shop with my parents, right? And I literally went to go talk to the cashier, but I couldn't say anything. Like I just was in stun lock. I wasn't able to say anything. I was like, I don't, and I had to like come back to reality before I said anything. And that kind of like made me realize that like I'm like just so unwilling to talk to people that like I wasn't even gonna get ice cream, and it's like, what, you don't want ice cream because you're that shy? And it's like, huh? It's like, it's kind of crazy to think about when you actually think about that you were so shy to talk to this girl at the ice cream store. You didn't really talk to her. And another example I have of this is like this doing things with my friends, right? I'm so scared to hang out with people or what people will say. Like sometimes I will just make an excuse to hang out with my friends in a lot of ways. And I think that's just crazy to me, looking back at it now, that I'm just so scared to talk to my friends or like hang out with my friends and what they might say if I do this or that, that I'll literally make an excuse not to hang out with them. Like they're my friends. Like I'm supposed to hang out and have fun with them, but I'm too afraid and shy to, so I end up not doing it. And I think that's just crazy. And I think that I need to realize that and change my way of thinking and, actually, try to be more sociable, right? Humans are sociable creatures after all, so I should do and enjoy those things and right and see another side of life that I've been failing to, have in my life, right? That sociable, more interactable, enjoyable side. And right, and to make other things in my life so much easier, right? Life is so hard to go out every day because I'm so afraid I'm going to say the wrong thing or scared I'm going to make myself look bad or look weird. And I need to realize that it's okay to be weird or bad looked at by people, right? Because those people, as long as they're like, even if they are close, like if someone's close to you and they think you're weird or a loser, you should probably, learn to like ask them to stop like thinking that way about you or stop looking bad at you, or to like end the connection. I also think that's another thing about my that is why my shyness is so bad. Is I'm so shy and so attached to things in my life that like, even though like I've had friendships that I've had for way too long, than longer than I ever should have, and should have broke them off for way too long. But I was so clingy on to them because I did not want the friendship to end. Right? I didn't like, the idea of losing my like, my few friends I had because they were like actually be like, I was losing the only like they were like the only friends I had, but they were pretty much the main friends I hang out with all the time. And losing them was just so bad that I'd rather, suffer with them, even though I wasn't enjoying it, rather than losing them and having, not many people to talk to, right? And I come to realize that now, that like I need to, embrace that self and have more self, dignity, right? And like coming to realize and value myself and my own things. And if the people aren't really doing that, I should drop that connection off. And I don't know. I'm just such a weird state that I'm in my life, a weird part of my life where I just want to do more, but I also am just so afraid to do those things, so I'm not doing them. So I'm in this weird flow state, and I need to like just take that next step, right? To just be more active, be more social, branch out, be the better me, right? And to break my shell, right? I've been so comfortable in my life for so long and living in my comfort zone that I need to break out of that comfort zone and embrace the challenges and the hardships that life has to face at me. I'm 21 as it is of now, and I'm coming of age, right? I'm getting to that point where life is like, starting, right? I'm like becoming an adult, and my real life is about to begin, right? Like before this point, it's like the stepping stones to life. Like you're building your life, building your career, going to school, doing this, doing that. But I'm coming to finally getting to that point in my life where like this is where you're supposed to, be that part of your life. You're supposed to live that life you built, enjoy the experiences. And I feel like I've missed so many opportunities. I haven't built enough things that I should have before in my life. And it's like people make mistakes, right? No one's perfect, right? And I think that I'm finally realizing that and really to take on the next challenge, the next step of my life. And I hope that if you gain anything from this video is to, try to do that yourself, right? And try to be better in your own life, right? I don't know how else to explain it. I'm not the best coach for this because, I haven't really done it much myself, but I just wanted to talk about that, get it off my chest, really, right? The experiences that I've had and, the challenges I've faced with this, and I don't know how else to really phrase it other than that, right? I've faced these challenges and I'm struggling really hard, but I want to change, and it's time to change now. And what better way to do that than by, just saying that I want to do that, right? Addressing that on this video, right? Something to look back on to, years down the road. I can just say that, hey, this is me at this point in my life, and I felt really scared and was unable to really talk about and share who I was. And hopefully later down the road, I can look back on this and be fun and like, hey, I actually achieved that thing, right? And then it takes time, and it's also commitment, right? You got to do it step by step. You can't really miss a step. It's like making a cake or something, right? If you miss a vital like ingredient or a step on how to make the cake will not turn out right. It might be too mushy, or it might not be well enough, or it might not stick together, right? Or it might not taste right. Like, all this, every little ingredient and step to make a cake matters. And if you cut out a step, you're cutting out a big piece of importance to that. And that's like the challenge that it comes with, trying to better yourself and trying to, change who you are, right? Because at the core of myself, I will always be introverted. And I don't think I can necessarily change that, right? I could never become an extrovert and just be super open and not scared when it comes to, a lot of things. But I could definitely become more comfortable with it, right? And learn to embrace these things rather than, shutting myself off and not actually doing anything in my life because I've been way too scared to do so. And I hope that I can achieve that, and I hope that I can push myself to in order to do those kinds of things, right? And to continue this guide and continue my adventure on. And I hope that this channel will allow me to do that, right? Every video, I hope I get better at talking and I become more clear with my words. I stutter less, right? And I become more, understanding of what I want in life rather than, all these fake placebo things that I've had for so long and all these falsehoods and things like that. And I hope that you gain something from that too in your life, right? If you realize that your life's not as good as right now, I'm just trying to open your eye really with this video is what I'm trying to get at. Is, Rick, you realize that, your life might not be in the right state either, and you want to change something better for yours. And I think that if there's any time to do it, now is the time, right? You only live for so long, right? Like the average expectancy in America, I think somewhere to like 60 to 70, right? So you just got to get out there and go do that, right? You can't really sit here and just hope that your life gets better because you're wasting years on your life. I've wasted years and years of my life doing this. Like, I guess you could argue 21 years of my life I've wasted not, achieving this thing and just pondering and like, coping, and just, whining about it rather than actually taking action until now, right? I finally decided to take action, express who I am as a person, express my actual opinions on things, and be a better with myself. And I'm not trying to make this video sad or anything. I don't want you to feel any sorrow things for me or anything like that, but I don't think anyone would. But like, I've chose this lifestyle, and if I want to change it, I have to choose to, put the work in to change it. It's just that simple. But it doesn't seem that simple in life, right? Life seems so much more complicated than it actually is. Like I feel like I like overthink things so hardly and like really like over dramatize things when I actually just sit there and do that, it's actually so much easier. And I think a lot of people do that kind of thing, right? You bloat things up, right? When you talk about something and like realize how much it is, you make it think it's so much bigger than what it actually is. But rather than if you just started doing something, like if you did a little thing and see how much progress you made in that little time, you'd come to realize like, oh, that actually wasn't that bad. I could actually get this done in no time, right? Or I could knock this out easily, or I could achieve that with ease, or like, you get what I mean? Like everything becomes way more possible after you start it, but the idea of starting it is the hardest thing, right? Starting it is where you get in your head and you start to overthink it, right? And you look at the task wrong, right? You don't look at it at the small first step you have to make, right? You look at it as like, instead of like, let's say it takes 10 steps to make a cake, right? And you have like a 10 step like little like booklet right in front of you that tells you all 10 steps to make the cake, right? But instead of looking at it at like the step one, right? Step one is literally just grab the cake mix, right? Instead of looking at step one and see how easy step one is, you look at it. I was like, I have to do 10 steps. This long, colluded, hard to do thing, rather than looking at it as just step one, right? It's just all you had to do was just grab the cake batter, right? And then what? You open the box and then you put it in the pan. Then you mix the pan and then you add this and that to it, right? And rather than just looking at it as like you don't look at it right. And I feel like that's how I've looked at everything in my life. I looked at everything wrongly and looked at it at a negative outlet because that was the easy thing to do, was to look at it at that way. And rather than to actually brace myself and push myself to better myself, I just looked at it as whatever the way to make my life the easiest, right? To make my life without any, pushback, any, heartaches, right? It was like, this is so much easier to do. I'm just gonna do this instead, or this is what I want to do. I'm gonna do that instead, right? I'm not gonna take action. I'm not gonna better myself in any way, and I feel like that's why I've become the person have become today. And I don't like the person I am at the moment, right? I'd rather be a better person, right? I want to push myself and push others too, right? I want people to around me to also be the best they can be, right? Whether that's for better or worse, I want them to push them to be the best possible selves they can be. And I mean by like worse in the sense of like me pushing them could push them in any way, right? I don't necessarily want to push them in the wrong direction, but like I can't really stop them from doing that. I don't know. This is a weird. This is. I probably shouldn't have said that. Like, I just want the best for everyone, and I feel like me saying my opinions and things can help push that. And as long as one person, like, I though it's ironic to say that, but literally, if one person could gain anything and actually push themselves to be better from this, I think that's something that I've achieved in life, right? Like, I made someone else's life better by this opening their eyes to doing that. I think that's what I want, or like saying something or opinion on something to let them realize that like, oh well, let me look at it at this way instead, right? Because the human brain is just so funny how it works and how all of us brains are slightly different. So I just really wonder how that works, and I probably want to deep into psychology, maybe, right? Maybe I should do that, right? Seems like that way that I like. It seems that way, but I don't know. I'm just sitting here talking while I play a video game, right? Who do I know, right? As they say. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you gained a little something from this, even though it was mostly me just kind of talking about my own goals and things. And maybe you learned about something about your own goals and your own shyness and things like that. And maybe, but I don't know. You are you. And as always, guys, we'll look at the KD. I went 44 and 43 this game. I actually didn't do too bad, surprisingly. I usually don't do good in these games, but I actually did decent on this game. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something. And as always, have a good day.